They stare at their cell phones, lose themselves in the music roaring through their AirPods, and try their best to escape from the post-pandemic world. Meanwhile, we as teachers are trying to engage them in today's lesson. Coping with a classroom full of apathetic teenagers is enough to try the patience of even the most seasoned educator. So how can you reach a seemingly unengageable teen? When juggling chainsaws with your hair lit on fire isn't working, what will? In this video, we'll take a step back and look at why students may not be engaged. We'll discuss 4 strategies based on motivational theory to overcome that lack of motivation without the possibility of losing a limb or burning down the building. First, the expectancy value theory of motivation suggests that a student's motivation to engage in learning is determined by 2 factors: expectancy and value. Expectancy is the belief that a person can succeed at a task. This is influenced by several factors, including the perceived difficulty of the task. Value refers to the importance a student places on the outcome of a task, and this is influenced by interests and how they perceive the relevance of the task. By providing students with achievable learning objectives and clearly showing them how they can achieve them, you can increase the students' expectations of success. When students expect to be successful in a task, they are far more motivated to engage in it. So how can you do this? First, make your learning objectives clear by posting and explaining exactly what you want students to know and do for each lesson. Next, provide and explain the grading rubric for assignments. And then give examples of successfully completed assignments. Here's an example of how this looks in practice. My high school English department requires all students to complete a weekly writing assignment in which they respond to a pre-assigned topic. I introduced this assignment to my 9th grade literature and composition students by displaying the first topic, "What do you think I should know about you?" on the board. Next, I explained that this assignment will require students to use MLA formatting, a requirement for all writing assignments in this course and all future English courses at the high school. My main objective for this first assignment is for students to correctly set up an MLA formatted paper. I display this objective under the topic. I can correctly format an MLA style paper. So the objective is clear. As MLA formatting is generally unfamiliar to 9th graders, I show what MLA formatting looks like on the board under the objective, and I provide each student with a handout explaining step by step how to set up their papers. I point out each aspect of MLA formatting in the example on the board and link each to the requirement listed on the handout. This how-to builds an expectation of success. Finally, I show an example of a complete essay responding to the given prompt that meets all the requirements for the assignment, and we read it together, noting how it meets expectations. Students can see that they are capable of doing the same, further building expectation for success and the likelihood that they will participate in the activity. Strategy 2 is offer students choices and autonomy. Continuing with the expectancy value theory, allowing students to make choices and have control over their learning can increase the value they place on the outcome. This motivates engagement. How can you do this? Go about lesson planning backward. Instead of beginning with activities and identifying the outcome, start with the desired outcome and list all the different possibilities for achieving that outcome. Consider your students' interests. differentiate for a variety of learning levels. Consider having students complete one activity of choice, or present a variety of activities on a choice board. Here's how I used this strategy to help with a motivational problem involving the same writing assignment I mentioned before. After the first 3 assignments, I was disappointed to see that participation had fallen off significantly. I found that the topics I had been given were of little interest to my 9th graders. They groaned each time the assignment came up. The thought of writing on topics they didn't care about seemed like drudgery. Additionally, they were disheartened by the fact that they were writing for an audience of 1, me. Spending time on an assignment that had what they considered little practical value was a waste of time, and many made this clear by choosing to take a 0 rather than putting in the effort to complete it. To address the problem, I scrapped the pre-assigned topics and asked my students to brainstorm a list of prompts they thought would not only be interesting, value, but they felt confident in writing about. Expectancy. From the list, each student chose the 10 they liked best, and these became their own personalized writing prompts. Additionally, I created a website for publishing student writing and posted a QR code for accessing the site in the classroom and around the school. I sent a link to parents and guardians so that they could enjoy reading what their students were writing about. This increased the perceived value of the activity, and participation rebounded. A third strategy, providing meaningful feedback, is supported by 3 motivational theories. Expectancy value theory suggests that providing students with feedback that emphasizes their progress and success can build their confidence and their expectation of future success. Providing students with positive feedback can create a positive learning environment that emphasizes the value and the relevance of learning. The second theory is causal attribution. This theory concerns how students perceive the causes of their academic successes and failures. Students who attribute their successes to internal stable factors like effort or ability are more likely to be motivated to continue putting in effort in the future. Additionally, students who attribute their academic success to factors that they can control, such as effort or studying, are more likely to be motivated to continue putting in the effort in the future. This theory suggests providing students with constructive feedback that emphasizes their effort and improvement encourages them to make internal controllable attributions for their successes. Goal orientation theory, the third motivational theory, focuses on how individuals approach a task and how they're motivated to succeed. It proposes that individuals can have either a mastery goal orientation or a performance goal orientation. A mastery goal orientation is characterized by a focus on developing competence and mastering new skills or knowledge. In contrast, a performance goal orientation is characterized by a focus on the appearance of competence and outperforming others. Goal orientation theory suggests that providing students with constructive feedback emphasizes that abilities can be developed through hard work and persistence, which can help students adopt a mastery goal orientation, motivating them to learn and improve. Providing students with opportunities to master new skills and knowledge by giving them opportunities to revise work can help students develop a sense of competence and a mastery goal orientation. So how can you use feedback effectively? Bring out the positive. Make at least 2 positive comments for every negative or constructive comment. Emphasize the improvements that you see. Make feedback purposeful by making corrective comments constructive. Keep it timely. Be sure your feedback comes quickly after the assignment is submitted. Keep it focused and specific. Refrain from pointing out every mistake. Focus on only one or two areas for improvement. Provide the opportunity for response and revision. Check the revisions and note improvement with positive feedback. In my classroom example, by focusing feedback initially on the use of MLA format on our weekly writing assignments, students were able to build confidence and see that they could master the first objective. As we continued the assignment, I personalized feedback based on their strengths, which received specific praise, and one weakness, which I addressed with specific help and suggestions. I did not assign a final grade until the student had the opportunity to revise based on the feedback. Then I made positive comments on the effort required and improvements I saw. To further create a positive learning environment and establish a relationship of trust with each student, I also commented on the content in general, asking questions or making connections. Students enjoy receiving comments, and the majority attempt to apply the feedback, making revisions to their work. Many are making notable improvements to their writing over time, even those who have told me they're just not good at English. Keeping a work portfolio, the final strategy, is also well supported by motivational theory. According to the expectancy value theory, providing students with evidence of how they have learned and achieved over time can increase their expectations for future success. Causal attribution theory suggests providing opportunities for students to see how they have learned and grown over time encourages a growth mindset, helping students realize that intelligence and ability can be developed through hard work and dedication. And according to goal orientation theory, providing evidence of learning and growth over time can encourage students to adopt a mastery goal orientation, motivating them to learn for the sake of learning. And providing evidence of growth over time shows that abilities can be developed through hard work and persistence, which may motivate students to learn, improve, and accept new challenges. How can you use work portfolios to motivate your students? Students can create their own Google file for work samples and share the file with you. You determine which assignments will be required as a part of the portfolio. Allow your students flexibility in what other assignments they want to include. Schedule specific days during the semester to review the contents of the portfolio with your students. Be prepared beforehand to point out improvements and growth you see over time. Though I include other writing assignments in my students' portfolios, this is how it specifically works with weekly essays. There are 12 weekly essays completed over a 4-month period. Students choose one each month, and I choose another to include in the portfolio. We visit the portfolio once every 4 weeks. I give students time to spend over their writing, reading it, and making note of any improvements they see themselves. I also encourage students to note any newly discovered strengths. I meet with each student individually and ask them to share what they see, and then I share my prepared notes on their progress. This is all positive. I link growth on benchmark scores in specific areas to the same standards on writing assignments. Finally, I ask each student to identify an area they want to improve in, and I identify a second area. Improvements in these skills are noted in the next review. Students are often happily surprised when they compare early writing with more recent work. This is a definite motivator, as they have hard evidence that they are indeed learning and growing in their language skills. In summary, 3 motivational theories have led me to identify 4 key strategies for motivating students to engage in learning. First, make your objectives achievable and clear. Offer your students choices and give them some autonomy in their learning. Provide meaningful, constructive feedback. And keep and visit work portfolios often. Engaging apathetic teens isn't easy. It requires hard work and persistence. As you work to implement these strategies, you'll see improvement and your confidence will grow. You'll be ready to take on even the most challenging of students as you adopt a growth mindset and master the art of motivation. You may even pack the chainsaws back in the garage and start regrowing your hair.